Hi everybody, Andrew Cuneo here with another cube draft, and we're ready to go, hopefully. Perhaps not. This screen is 100% the most useless screen in all of Arena. There's really no reason that the draft couldn't have already started. All right, let's see what we got. I do like being blue in this cube. These blue cards are not a great way to start the draft. To be an aggressive red deck, there's Phoenix of Ash, which I think is a very strong card. Other than that, I mean, I guess if you wanted to do like a red-black sack thing, there's Judith. I don't think that's a very good way to start a draft. There's also Scoot Swarm, which I don't think is a good way to start a draft at all, but it is a very fun way to get up to some shenanigans. So let's see if I can force that. By shenanigans, ideally I get Cathar's Crusade in play with Scoot Swarm and get so many triggers that Arena threatens to end the game in a draw. And here's the Cathar's Crusade. There's also Sawtusk Demolisher, which you can get up to some shenanigans with Scoot Swarm. So I think white-green is probably awful in this cube, but it's what I've chosen to go for. This pack has 5 lands in it. That's a lot of land. Guess I'll just take the dual land. So with Cathar's Crusade, you want as many things that put multiple creatures into play at once as you can get, pretty much. And I definitely want I want ways to find my Scoot Swarm, and I want ways to make multiple land drops in a turn. So Explore, Oracle of Moldiah, Beanstalk Giant, cards like that. Settle the Wilds would be nice if I could get it. I could maybe set my deck up so that I could use Settle the Wilds to consistently get Cathar's Crusade. I want the old pack back just so I can have something to look at. Although there wasn't much to see in that pack. It was just all lands. All right, we've got a new pack. And we've got a card that's pretty awesome with Cathar's Crusade. I'm going to go ahead and do this. Hopefully the Dollhouse of Horrors wheels. I think that would be a good card for what I've got going on. If you're wondering, how are you ever going to beat a blue deck with a deck like this? I've got to say, I'm wondering the same thing. All right, we've got the Hiveheart Shaman. That could be good. It's a way to get additional lands into play. It's something to do once you have a lot of mana in play. Let's go for it. This is the very, very, very poor man's Golos. Ooh, Vorinclex. Vorinclex is very powerful. The counter doubling is great with Planeswalkers. It's also great against opposing Planeswalkers. There's actually a lot of cards that would be good here. But I think Vorinclex most fits the shenanigans theme I'm going for. Probably am going to need to get some more cards that cost fewer than 5 mana. There's plenty of time in the draft still, though. This isn't the normal card frame for Vorinclex, right? Okay, we don't really have much that would be of interest. I guess I could, in theory, use a Woodland Cemetery. There's also a Ranger Captain of Eos, which I don't know that there's going to be a lot of cards that I could tutor up. There's a Giant Killer that was in one of the earlier packs. I'd be a little surprised if that wheels. So I could take a black dual land. I think I'm just going to take the Ranger Captain of Eos. I think that might be the most upside. I don't really anticipate getting enough stuff to make Traxos a reasonable card. It almost never happens in this cube that Traxos is a reasonable card. The Ranger Captain of Eos at least is a card that, if I get enough targets for it, it produces multiple creatures. So it's a lot of Cathartic Crusade triggers if it's fully enabled. Here, I could get a Birth of Meletus just to have a cheap card. I think I'd rather take the Knight of Autumn. Knight of Autumn has a lot of upside. Both the gain life and the hitting artifact and enchantment modes is pretty good. So here, maybe take Bastion of Remembrance. I could maybe just have Soul Guide Lantern in my deck. That doesn't sound like the worst idea, to be honest. Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to wind up playing it, but maybe I will. Maybe I wind up with Luris and I want some cheap cards to recur. Sawtusk Demolisher with Scoot Swarm can be a bit of a combo, so let's see if we can get that going on. None of these cards... Well, I guess Sacred Foundry does a little bit. Blossoming Defense could be nice to protect my Scoot Swarm. I am sort of all in on the Scoot Swarm plan, so let's take the Blossoming Defense. Definitely want Dollhouse of Horrors. It's a way to get back Scoot Swarm or Hornet Queen. These cards are all pretty bad. I think this card's probably just too bad to play. Maybe I can make Showdown of the Scalds work somehow. All right, Kabira Takedown. Not a bad pickup. I'll definitely play that one. Here we go. Oracle of Moldiah is exactly what I'm looking for in this deck. Probably I'll get to wheel the farmland. If not, maybe one of these white cards. There's Doomscar, which I guess is a theoretical way to sideboard for a creature matchup. It's really hard to believe that the opposing deck is going to be more of a creature deck than I am. I'm just 100% creature deck. So if I don't want Doomscar, what else is there? Saw It Coming to maybe sideboard. I don't have any blue producing lands. I don't think any of these red or black cards are desirable, though. I think it's really just, I guess, Spell Pierce, Saw It Coming, or Doomscar. Of those, I think Saw It Coming is the one that is actually most likely to be used. Strictly as a sideboard card, but it is a good sideboard card, potentially. That's assuming I can get some blue dual lands, which is not guaranteed. All right, so what do we have? Bala Ged Recovery here, which I don't really have anything that is that great to get back. There's also the final E of Devastation, which is a way to get my Scoot Swarm. That's pretty nice. Let's take that one. I really haven't gotten very much in the way of mana ramping. Generally, I'm super happy to see Wilderness Reclamation. This deck does not do anything with it. Do I want Dramoka's Command? It is really, really mediocre. There's also Teleportation Circle, which, I mean, you can, with Hornet Queen, that's kind of a combo. I guess there's Knight of Autumn as well. I'll take the Teleportation Circle. I assume Dramoka's Command is going to wheel. I don't think I have enough stuff yet for the circle. Really, I need just cheap cards. Is Elvish Reclaimer the kind of cheap card I need, though? I don't have any great lands to go find. It is something that you get with Ranger Captain of Eos. That's maybe something. I don't really have anything that does anything with Heliod. Yeah, this is... So far, this is a pretty disappointing pack. All right, there's Soul Herder, which feeds into the teleportation circle theme a little bit. Though I don't have anything to get or to flicker yet. All right, so this is a case of emergency plan. Maybe I would play with those. So Disdainful Stroke for the sideboard. There's also a Skittering Surveyor, which I really hate when this winds up in my deck. But if I'm going to do this teleportation circle Soul Herder thing, maybe it will come in handy. I still have basically nothing that costs less than 3 mana. So I'm going to take the Werewolf Pack Leader here just to have a cheap play. I'm going to take the Farmland for some mana fixing. Valor Stance would obviously be a fine card to take as well, but I think I need the mana fixing. What I really need is some more mana ramping. I guess Spell Pierce is kind of a package with Saw It Coming. If I'm playing somebody who's playing, you know, that, like a lot of time walks and stuff like that, I might want it. Hall of Oracles, would I ever do anything with that? I'm gonna have to say no. So maybe I want Domri. Wilderness Reclamation. Doesn't seem like something I would ever really be able to use. So let's take the Deck of Many Things. And Heliod. Heliod is a really hard card to use in this cube. Oh, there's a Lightning Helix. So in theory, I could have a red splash. I'm very much held back by the fact that I don't really have very good mana. I think I need to take Emergent Sequence. I kind of hate playing with this card because it's so easy for the land to die, but I just need more cheap plays and more ways to get more land drops into play. So there's Thalia, which is another cheap card, and it's a card that interacts with the blue decks. It's going to hurt them a lot more than it's going to hurt me. My cards are mostly creatures. So that is an excellent option. There's also Kogla, although I already have 2 other green 6-drops, so I'm not that excited about Kogla. Let's take Thalia. There's also Field of Ruin, which I might play, especially if I wind up just pretty close to straight white-green, because it can trigger another landfall trigger with Scoot Swarm, which is kind of nice. Here we go. I've got a red-green land if I want to play some of these red cards. There's Domri and Showdown of the Scalds. That's kind of appealing. Sure, let's take a red-green land. Here we've got a green-white dual land, but I think I'd rather just take the Tangled Florahedron. Give myself a shot at some more acceleration. There's Vivian, which would be fine, but I'm going to take Welcoming Vampire. This card is another thing that lowers my curve, and it can get out of hand, for sure. There's actually a bunch of good options here. Angel of Invention is really nice with Cathar's Crusade. Fateful Absence would obviously be fine. There's a red-green land. There's also Mikaeus. Mikaeus is something you can get with Ranger Captain of Eos, and is also just a generally good card, and it works with foreign clicks. I think I want the Angel of Invention, though. I think that's the best one for me. All right, what do we got here? We have Tendershoot Dryad, which is obviously pretty strong. I think I just want the Gilded Goose, though. I think I need to focus on cheap plays still. Dauntless Bodyguard. That could be, that gives me, that probably gives me enough stuff now for the Ranger Captain of Eos if that's what I want to do. White creature spells are cheaper. So this is a nice card with Cathar's Crusade, but it doesn't really help me cast my more expensive cards, which is not very appealing. I guess I'll take Unbreakable Formation. I don't think this is a very good deck for it. So there's Primal Might. Or Field of Ruin. I'm just going to take Field of Ruin. I don't think I got enough stuff for Teleportation Circle to be good. Do I want a Selfless Savior? That's yet another thing that the Ranger Captain of Eos can get. I think this card is just kind of awful. Yeah, I'll take Selfless Savior. Ooh, Heliod's Intervention. That's nice. Might start with that in the sideboard. Machias is nice as well. So I'm definitely going to play the Ranger Captain of Eos, and I think I don't need to splash the red cards anymore. I think I got enough stuff that I don't need to play with Domri and Showdown on the Scalds. So we could play Ranger Captain of Eos. I don't think there's any reason that I would want Elvish Reclaimer in my deck. Don't think I got enough stuff for Teleportation Circle. So I could play Unbreakable Formation, maybe? This is 17 lands, and I've got 2 double face cards. And I have Gilded Goose and Emergent Sequence. So I don't want to add another land to my deck. I could play Blossoming Defense, which would be fine. I do sort of want to have, it'd be nice to have one non-plains, non-forest basic land in my deck just to get with the Hiveheart Shaman. So maybe I should play a little bit of red. Like, what if I took the Skittering Surveyor out of my deck, even though I'm adding a mountain to my deck? I just think that card is so bad, I'd rather not have it in my deck if I can't flicker it. I do that. And then, obviously, I would not play 4 red lands. So what do I have that can generate red mana for me? I've got the Goose, the Sequence. I should have the Rockfall Veil in my deck. How much green land is this? 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's certainly not enough green. It gets me up to 9. I could also just not play Field of Ruin. I think Field of Ruin is really only if I'm going to play a 2-color deck. So I have 7 white sources, 10 green sources, and then also I have a white source here and a green source there. That seems pretty good. If anything, I could maybe think about playing a 3rd mountain, but I'm not going to do that. All right, emergency, we got to fix this. Imagine a world where you didn't have to do this every draft. You could just have all your cards not use card styles if you don't want them to. That is not the world we live in, though. All right. So this is a fine deck. I'm going to get completely crushed by the good blue decks, but maybe I won't play against them. All right. I don't think there's any reason to suspect I'm going to play the Kabira Takedown as a land this game. Just going to get another forest. Or should I get the mountain? I guess I'll get... if I get the... Yeah, I'll get a mountain. If I draw Domri or Showdown of the Scalds, I definitely wouldn't be able to cast it. Clone Crafter? My deck has so many good creatures in it. That's not very fair. Please don't have censor. I'll feel really bad if they censor me here. I should have cast this before attacking, specifically because of censor. I played the Kabira Takedown as a land that turn just so I could play Hornet Queen next turn. Oh, they stole my Oracle of Moldiah, and they have Hullbreaker Horror in their deck. That's not good. That's really not good for me. Hornet Queen at least is a very effective card against Hullbreaker Horror. It's very hard for the Hullbreaker Horror to make the Hornet Queen completely irrelevant. Alright, that's not bad for me. Because I am going to just Dollhouse the Hornet Queen back next turn. Treasure map. I'll be eating that one with the Knight of Autumn. No interest in blocking that. None at all. That's fine. Just get it back anyway. I should hold the land in my hand to use with Scoot Swarm if I draw it. I think I need to just try to kill my opponent. I'm not going to be able to win a long game against Field of the Dead plus Hullbreaker Horror. I actually have lethal next turn because I can bring back the Hiveheart Shaman to get this up to 3 power. So I have 7 in the air. So I'm beating the Hullbreaker Horror. It just depends on whether these two cards are anything good. Scryed to the top. Making some more zombies. Alright, that's not good for me. Can they even get anything? They can't get... Oh, they can get treasure map. Okay. Can this get anything good? Get Selfless Savior. Ooh, Chaos. That's good too. I do need to get this back in order for the Hornet Queen to be big enough that it's threatening lethal. I want to just have this in play. I'll just use the Savior to save what, presumably this thing. It keeps the Hiveheart Shaman as a 3/3, so it can potentially block a zombie token if need be. I don't have enough mana to play Magma Opus plus Hullbreaker Horror. I guess they can kill these and tap that, so I don't have lethal for next turn. And then the turn after that, they can go Hullbreaker Horror, cast Ornithopter Paradise, bounce a token. Probably I can't win this game at this point. I wonder if there's some way, maybe I could play this for 0, and I guess you can't dollhouse it back and have it be big enough to do anything. Never mind. Oh. I think they maybe actually wanted that one. It's just sorcery speed, so I can't get back to Selfless Savior to save a token. Probably 4 tokens die. This gets tapped. That's what we're looking at here. Maybe this gets tapped. Ooh, the dollhouse could get tapped. That's kind of annoying. And they found a time warp. Ugh. That's not good for me. If we are making a list of things that are good for me, that's not going to be on it. Does that do anything? I guess the answer is no. I don't know what they're thinking about. I guess they could scry that away in their upkeep. Holy cow, Sublime Epiphany. This is really, really over. They can create a copy of Hullbreaker Horror, the Sublime Epiphany, have double the horroring. Can't believe they got the Oracle of Moldiah off of Clone Crafter. That has to have been the best possible creature they could hit. I'm just dead on board. I didn't even need that. They can just bounce this, use the Hullbreaker to bounce this, copy the Hullbreaker, draw a card, cast this, bounce this, attack with everything. I'm really dead. I won't make them do it all. Alright, so let's sideboard. This is the reason that I wanted these blue cards, is this type of matchup. Obviously, if you're going to board in blue cards, you need to board in blue lands. Is there anything else that seems appealing? Not really. I don't think I saw any sweepers that would really make me want Unbreakable Formation. Didn't see enough artifacts and enchantments to want this. Didn't really see enough to even want this, I don't think. All right. I think I'll play this on turn 2 and then hope to just cast the Tangled Florahedron the next turn. I should have boarded in a bunch of really bad creatures for them to hit off of Clone Crafter. Maybe that's the secret to this matchup, is just fill your deck with only bad creatures. Ow. Sand is so close to being a good hand, but it's not a good hand. Land, please. Land, please. Hey, it's land. Excellent. Although, they are going to be able to cast Sublime Epiphany next turn, which is not good for me. Let's start with an attack. See if they're interested in countering this. Play it for 1. thing's just gonna make it so all their spells are free. Is this a magma opus? If it's a magma opus, that's bad for me. Sensing a magma opus. Yeah, this is hopeless. All right. Like I said, I knew my deck was going to be bad against those big blue mana decks. Game 1 was really close. In that game, they had memory lapse, so I missed my third land drop. This is an okay hand. It's not a great hand. Guess I should lead on the takedown on turn 1, because if I draw a forest, I could just play the Florahedron. If I don't draw a forest, I'll play this as the Tangled Veil. Oh, it's another blue deck. Boring. All right. Maybe in okay shape this game. Come on, just tap out for something so I can resolve Cathar's Crusade. I want to trade the Ranger Captain of Eos for the Malevolent Hermit. I think that's actually fine. I definitely don't want to use the Selfless Savior to save it. I suppose in theory I could wind up waiting a turn and the Machias would allow me to have the Ranger Captain of Eos be big enough, but I think I'm happy just getting it off the board so that I'll be able to play Cathar's Crusade next turn. Or not. Looks like I'm getting wrathed. It's all right. We got to follow up. I'll just follow up with Vorin clicks to the face. The next turn I can go Crusade, Selfless Savior. This will be an 8/8. And I'll have a Selfless Savior to protect it. Or not. Oh! Forgot about that. ECD, not very good against Vorinclex. For people who haven't been playing Standard for the past 2 years, Vorinclex shuts down all your opposing sagas. That was one of the better things it did in the Sultai Ultimatum deck. It makes all of your sagas go off twice as fast. So that was another blue deck. It was perhaps less susceptible to counters, but I'm gonna sideboard the same way I did last time. You might think that it's pretty extreme to be splashing Spell Pierce in your sideboard, but I think that it's just so important to counter some of the big mana cards out of these blue decks. This cube is kind of unbalanced. The big mana strategies are just really, really good against the mid-range strategies. It's a pretty nice curve out. I saw Realmed Cloak Giant, not Doomscar. I don't even know if Doomscar's in this cube. I'm just gonna play my Vampire and try to get ahead. I did know Saw It Coming was in the cube because I can see it in my hand. I think I should start sitting on Spell Pierce here just because I want to make sure I get value out of the Spell Pierce. Also, the way my mana base works, I kind of have to foretell Saw It Coming if I want to be able to cast it. I'm not going to Spell Pierce that. I'll save it for something that they actually spend mana on their turn, or something that's going to add to the board. Alright, it turns out Doomscar is in the cube. If you were wondering if Doomscar is in the cube, it is in the cube. They both didn't do anything and didn't foretell Doomscar, so they have something for 4 mana they want to play. Maybe it's Commit to Memory? They did have Geistwave in their deck, but you would think Geistwave would not be a reason not to do anything with your turn. Yeah. I'll stop that, and then if they play the Doomscar, I can use my Selfless Savior. I'm in pretty good shape here. And honestly, a land wouldn't even be that bad of a draw. I could play the Ranger and have Saw It Coming. Oh, yeah. I don't really want to use this to go and get a 1-drop, so let's just attack and pass. I'll either play the Saw It Coming this turn, or if I don't, then it means that lands are good draws for me. Probably I would lean towards playing Saw It Coming on almost anything that they would spend a bunch of mana on. In theory, I could go for the win there by playing the Varn clicks and trying to attack, but I think that that's just giving my opponent an opportunity to win, which I don't need to do. I can just sit on this, saw it coming. And if they actually manage to resolve something, I'll probably get to untap and play Varn clicks, which is lethal next turn. So this game really showed the power of my sideboard plan, which my sideboard plan looks kind of ridiculous, I think, if you haven't played a lot of this cube. But it's sort of what you have to do if you want to beat these big mana blue decks. This hand, I think, is too bad to keep. Morbid Opportunist. All right. I could blow up their land and just clock them. I don't think that's a very good idea, though, being honest. Three-color deck with Blast Zone. I don't love it. I'll say that. I'd like to make some land drops this turn. What do you got for me? I hope Thalia is hurting my opponent, because it has certainly hurt me some this game. Fairy's Tutelage. Okay. I don't think I really even wanted to draw this necessarily. I think I need to blow up the tutelage just because it's a little bit scary that they could mill me out. Obviously, the Maze Mind Tome gives them more immediate value, but the tutelage kind of gives them an actual avenue to win the game. Especially with the Morbid Opportunist triggering additional draws, potentially. I'm getting swept. I'm not. Okay. Can I kill them? So this, I could have made this into a 7/7, so I had 11 damage showing, I think. So not really. Oh wait, I could have played this and mutated there, and then blown up one of my own lands. So this would have been 6, 7, 8, 9. I could have only done 14 damage. That was enough for them though. Alright, so they were a more mid-range-ish deck. I'm not going to board in the blue just for variety's sake. I didn't see anything that really demanded being countered. There weren't cards like Sublime Epiphany, Magma Opus, Auron's Epiphany, Time Warp. Giving up on the idea of playing the pack leader, but this will allow me to go Thalia into Scoot Swarm. Suppose I'll just play the pack leader now. It hits way harder than the Scoot Swarm, and also this way I'm not exposing the Scoot Swarm to just dying right away. So I'll be able to play it maybe on my 6th turn and then make a land drop. Gonti is a really cool card. It's kind of an annoying card, though, because I'm about to search my deck. So in theory, if I wanted to sit there forever, I could figure out what this card is. I think in practice, I'm not going to want to do that. So did they get Gilded Goose from Chaos? No. That's enough intelligence for me from the Ranger of Captain Evios. They stole my Oracle of Moldiah. These decks always steal my Oracle of Moldiah. I don't like it very much. Is it possible I'd want to use the Selfless Savior to save the pack leader? I think the answer is no. So I think I should just attack. And I think I'm going to follow that up with just a big Machias. I could go Scoot Swarm, land, Emergent Sequence, get another copy of Scoot Swarm. But I don't have enough mana to also play the Selfless Savior, so I think I'd rather just have the Machias out. And then the Machias will be able to kind of go crazy next turn. If I wind up getting to go Scoot Swarm, Emergent Sequence, Selfless Savior, they have a hostile in their deck. My opponent and I have really, really different ideas about when you should put colorless lands in your 3-color deck. Have anything good to get? Gonti. Gonti's pretty good to get. I don't think I want to trade here because it just gives them the option to trade and then get their Gonti if they decide that's the best way to play their turn. Actually, I was just confused about how the Priest of Fell rights worked. I forgot that you could just sack it. I was thinking that I didn't want them to unearth it and get the Gonti back, but obviously they could do what they literally just did. So what I said made no sense at all. It won't be the last time that happens. I probably missed 3 damage effectively because I kind of played like an idiot. Their deck is all about bringing back the Gonti. The Welcoming Vampire that they stole from me. Thief. Wish I had Cathar's Crusade. Guess I'll just play this. Oh, wait. How does it work with this thing? Oh, I think I just made it so their Maze Mind Tome never goes away. I guess I also made it so that the Liliana is worse when they play it. And I prevented them from getting a counter on Blast Zone. I prevent them from getting a counter on the Hostile. They can't get soul counters. That's nice. So there, if Vorinclex wasn't in play, they would have gained 4 life, but the Maze Mind Tome would have gone away. Showdown of the Skulls would be a really good draw next turn. So would Cathar's Crusade. I would maybe kill my opponent if I drew either of those cards. Don't think I'm going to kill them with that Plains. Had 5 blockers and 16 life. Deal 3 there. And I block 4 more things. So I deal 9 damage if I attack this turn. That's not worth it. Everybody has Sublime Epiphany. All 3 of my opponents have had Sublime Epiphany. I'm still not going to board in Spell Pierce and Saw It Coming if we go to game 3 because their deck does have a lot of creatures in it. We can gain a life by playing the Trespasser, so they'd be at 15, and then this effectively gives them 2 more life by Alpha Strike, so they'd be at 17. This would probably get blocked by Gonti, so it would deal 3 damage, so they're kind of at effectively 14. Oh, but they drew into the Sublime Epiphany, but they tapped in a way that they can't cast it. I think they were dead to an Alpha Strike that turn. I would have had to do the math. It was definitely really close. It was probably 1 or 2 life either way. That was a fun draft, even though I never got to do my Scoot Swarm Cathar's Crusade combo, which I really like a lot. What did I win? A Nightmare Shepherd. It's infuriating to win a 5th copy of Nightmare Shepherd. All right, that's it for now. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you next time.